Welcome, everybody, to another episode of a Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi podcast. I am your main host, the Artificial Dragon.
We're back, baby! I'm your co-host, Darth Celine.
Yeah, it's been a good hot minute.
It's been a month.
Yeah, it's been a month since the Dooku episode. I lost track of what episode it is. It's not really relevant at this point. But yes, I am back from my birthday vacation in Hawaii.
Fucker.
Yes, I've been sharing pictures with the Discord chat, having a lovely time over there. Visited the Kona Royal Palace, got to see the dolphins while I was over there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a very fun time. In case anybody's wondering, I am absolutely safe. There was a hurricane when I did arrive in Hawaii, but fortunately not big enough to affect the air traffic and all that stuff. But now that we're back, time to get back into the groove of things.
We're gonna try.
Yeah. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room that happened this week.
Not Darth. Lord Vader himself, James Earl Jones, passed away September 9th, 2020.
Yeah, today, at the recording of his podcast, is September 10th, so we had 24 hours to process all this, and
Rip Lord Vader.
Rip Lord Vader, as well as the guy who
Mufasa.
voiced as Mufasa, and who else did he voice?
I mean, the man was an EGOT winner, Emmy, Oscar, Grammy, and Tony winner.
Yep.
That's a special lifetime achievement.
That is. You know, I'm thinking of all of his random trivia stuff. There was, I can't remember if it was like a convention back in the day, but I think James Earl Jones accidentally spoiled that Darth Vader was Luke's father at one point.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and because the internet didn't exist back then, it wasn't that widespread. Like, if he did that shit nowadays, it would be all over Reddit or whatever.
Well, obviously.
But no, I think it was kind of funny, and then George Lucas had to come in like, hey, James.
Like, don't say that.
Don't do that. Sign a contract here. He's like, okay, man. But I think that was a nice little trivia for James Earl Jones. But hope you're resting in peace with the rest of the actors.
Godspeed, you magnificent bastard.
Yeah, he's up there with Carrie Fisher right now.
Yep. That would be cool if, I think there's an official event on SWTOR. I don't remember what server it is. I think there are multiple servers that are doing it, but they're doing a lightsaber salute on the fleet or on Yavin 4.
Yeah, didn't they do that with Carrie Fisher a little while?
I believe they did.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'll attend that event myself, but you deserve it, James Earl Jones, for providing the most magnificent voice for one of the best villains in all of sci-fi.
Absolutely.
But now that we got kind of the sad stuff, because he died of...
He was 93.
He was 93. He had a nice, fulfilling life. Yeah. But yeah, with the sad stuff out of the way, I'm gonna do a little bit of a promotion.
Onto the self-promo.
Yeah. For any of you that have been living under a rock since this was announced while I was on birthday vacation, but yes, this August, last month, technically, Patreon art piece is Empress Lacris.
Yes!
Right? Yes, queen! Probably one of my current most favorite Patreon art pieces in the entirety of this podcast.
You say that over Alara.
You know, that is fair. That is very fair. Scandalous. I know. Shocking. The supreme Lacris simp is simping over her art piece. Yes, I have. But yes, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/canmail. Once again, that's patreon.com/canmail. Discord is open to the public as per usual, but if you're interested in grabbing a Empress Lacris poster, go ahead and go to the highest tier, which is the Consular, $10 a month. But any other tier, you'll have access to secret channels on Discord to vote for future episodes, such as the one that we're doing right now. But we'll get to that episode in a little bit. But anyway, support our Patreon. it allows us to do content like this in the near future and beyond.
We're coming up on 3 years of doing this.
Yes. It will be, I think...
sometime this month.
Yeah, sometime this month in a week or so. I'll have to re-verify that info.
Excellent.
But yes, it will be...
As of today, August 10th, we are not a week, but 10 days away from my birthday.
Yep, this is Hannah's birthday month. Last month was my birthday month. Now it is the Lady of the Sith's turn.
Stay tuned for this month's art piece.
Yes, I'm sure you will love it, Hannah.
Absolutely, I will.
But yeah, with that said, I'm going to do a shout out to all of the consulars that have supported us for a good while. We have Alan Lee, Y Wolves, Cameron Lee, Dr. Imboss, Gobez, Lee Fott, Milo, and Tristan H. Thank you for supporting our podcast for close to our 3rd year anniversary. And I hope we have good future content from this day onwards with your support.
Thank y'all so much. We
Thank
appreciate
y'all
the
so
support.
much. But anyway, it would be very appreciated if you support my co-host blog, Celine's Cantina. And I might have a couple of ideas for you. I'm not going to say it on this recording, but I do have some ideas for you.
So, and when I say support, I'm not trying to do this to be nitpicky or anything, but actually like and reblog my content. So replies are fine, absolutely, but like
valve a loop of how that actually works, but I'll make sure to support more of your posts and replies.
Yes, please. I now am up to 20 characters that you can learn about.
Oh, Jesus.
All of them have lore behind them, but hey, I'm not talking about it because no one's asking me.
Yeah.
So, please,
yes.
support.
Yes.
I would appreciate it.
Yes, go ahead and support Celine's Cantina. And one more thing, Hannah. I have something I want to share. This is kind of a late surprise from last month that a majority of the podcast members wanted to contribute. And your mom also had a part in this, and she wanted me to record this.
Seriously?
So don't do anything just yet. I'm going to post and record your reaction.
I'm not going to look at my phone. Okay, criminal organizations.
Yes. Today, don't worry. For any of you that are kind of out of the loop, don't worry. I'm just going to fast forward through some of that. But yes, let's actually get into today's topic. It was a Patreon selected episode by courtesy of our Patreon member, Gobez. And so first off, he selected the Black Sun, but I decided that would probably be a very short episode, so I decided to broaden it a little bit. And today, Hannah, we will be talking about crime organizations.
Yep.
So, more specifically, we will be talking about syndicates, cartels, that sort of thing. Because, in all honesty, Hannah, if I decided to go through every single crime organization in Star Wars, we would be here all day.
We'd be here for a while.
Yeah, because, I'm just looking at this list. Like, some of them, they're like one-note organizations, like gangs, swoop by gangs, all that sort of stuff. Like, let me see if I could bring up a couple. For example, there's the Black Hole Gang. There's, the Black Mass, the Black Nebula, Black Talon Gang, the Blue Ghost, ooh. And then, of course, there's Corona, that you might recognize from SWTOR.
There are a hell of a lot of gangs in SWTOR. You kind of lose track of them, especially in the smuggler story.
Exactly. And I remember Corona was memed about a lot back in 2020 when the outbreak happened. But yes, I might save the list of all the crime organizations for a future episode because holy shit, there's a lot. So I decided to pick the more notable ones. So, are you ready to go down this classic list episode, Hannah?
Yeah.
I know, you gotta
I'm
recuperate
okay. I'll
from
be
that.
okay. Don't expect a lot of commentary from me after that.
Okay. So the first crime organization that we will be covering is the Assassins Guild. It's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, it's an organization that uses assassins and hires them out to the highest bidder. It even has its own sub-guilds, similar to the Bounty Hunters Guild. We don't know too much about their guilds, but they do have an inner structure, so to speak. The guild is led by an elite circle, which is a leading group of assassins within the organization. It's like the top dogs of the Assassins Guild. The leader from above the elite circle is a role that is called the Doyen, who is considered the greatest of all the assassins. And anybody who wants to succeed the Doyen would have to kill the current Doyen to take their place. And the female variant of that title is what is called a Doyeness. So almost like Baron, Baroness, that sort of thing. Kind of a very short and simple organization. There wasn't a whole lot of info I could find about it, but I don't know, it's just one of those organizations that sounds like it deserves more lore to be covered on it, that sort of thing. But going straight from the organization that we know the least about, let's go ahead and talk about the Black Sun, probably one of the most powerful crime organizations in all of Star Wars. Let me actually share a couple of pictures on the Black Sun, because you do encounter them a fair amount in SWTOR.
There's a whole area of just Black Sun territory on Coruscant.
Yep. Let me go ahead and pull up the pictures. Yeah, I think the Black Sun is pretty cool. It's got its roots in Star Wars that go way back, even back to the original trilogy, funny enough. Where the fuck is the... Here we go. I personally like the Black Sun symbol. And why the hell did I send that to your chat? And not the CMJ chat. I have no idea. But yeah, their symbol is pretty cool. I'm not sure if you could see it down there because it's a file more than anything else.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. But the Black Sun, it holds a massive amount of reach and influence, extending its tendrils of corruption in various galactic governments of each era. It is most infamous for its involvement in piracy and smuggling, but those activities were merely the tip of the iceberg for the Black Sun. They are involved in every known type of illegal activity imaginable. Like slavery, smuggling, drug trafficking, human trafficking, the whole shebang. They are involved in everything. It's even said that its intelligence network rivaled even the accuracy and scope of Imperial intelligence in the Galactic Empire, which says a lot, because Imperial intelligence is basically the CIA of the Star Wars universe.
Yes. CIA, FBI, and Secret Service all rolled into one.
Yeah, pretty much. It has so much power that it practically has a military comparable to an entire planetary government, which is pretty terrifying to think about. Yeah, let me go ahead and send over what the foot soldiers of the Black Sun, at least in the Clone Wars, look like. Might recognize these guys?
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the Black Sun is so powerful, it employs many powerful individuals. Like, it even has Night Sisters among its ranks as mercenaries.
Yeah, not surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, during Mother Talzin's time, they basically became mercenaries.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just to get off planet.
But yeah, while there is one overarching leader of the Black Sun, called the Underlord, under them are 9 Vigos, or Taiwanese for nephew. If you recall from... Sorry?
I always thought Vigo meant, like, underboss.
Yeah, it's... I mean, the underboss is the head honcho of the entire Black Sun, but the Vigos are those under the Underlord. I know it's kind of weird to think about it, but Vigo means nephew, which if you think about it, kind of makes a little bit of sense. But if you recall from our D&D episode, not D&D episode, D&D campaign, one of the big crime lords on Iego is a lovely Verpine called the
Dust Dealer.
Yes, Dust Dealer. And he's the Vigo. He's meant to be the Vigo of the Iego sector.
Yeah.
Just for that example. But, let me see, where was I? Okay. The Black Sun has began its roots during the end of a great galactic war, or more specifically, after the sacking of Coruscant, which caused absolute chaos for the Coruscant security force in the lower levels of the galactic capital when Darth Malgus and his boys came into town. Yeah, they had other things to worry about, so they basically abandoned a good amount of the lower sectors of Coruscant to deal with the Sith, and this was seen as a golden opportunity for multiple gangs to seize control of numerous neighborhoods, and one of these new gangs would carve out a territory and develop spice and weapon trafficking operations. But they did briefly find opposition with another organization called the Justicars Brigade, if you remember that one.
The quote-unquote police of the Justicar sector in Coruscant. They're just as worse as the Black Sun. They're assholes.
Yeah, they are. They are a glorified militia that are no better than the very criminals they are fighting.
Yep.
Their influence, the precursors of a Black Sun anyway, their influence caused denizens of the lower levels to coin the phrase, better a Black Sun than none at all. And that is where the name Black Sun came from. And I remember reading somewhere that, why is his name escaping me right now? Who is the worst companion character you could think of right now? Skadge. He's one of the Vigos, the original Vigos of a Black Sun.
How the fuck did that walking tumor become a Black Sun Vigo?
I know, but, I'm sure he's not the actual founder of a Black Sun, but he's coined as one of the founders of a Black Sun, which is horrible to think about, considering his character.
Yeah, he's a fucking dick.
Yeah, but let me see. Leading up to the late Republic era, the Black Sun came under the control of a individual by the name of Alexei Grayan, who is a Force sensitive who was not identified by members of a Jedi Order due to his age. This crushed the young man's dream of becoming a Jedi Knight, and he's like, well, fuck you guys, I might as well go and join the Black Sun and make my way up, to the point where he became the Underlord of the entirety of a Black Sun. Let me actually send a picture of what this Alexei guy looks like, because he would be very important for a future episode with Maul. Where was he? Okay, now that one. There we go. And this is Alexei, the blonde guy in the back, and that's his Night Sister bodyguard right next to him. Yeah.
Night Sister looks awesome.
Yeah, she is pretty awesome looking. But yeah, point is, Alexei became the leader of the entirety of the Black Sun, more or less in the late Republic era, when Palpatine and Darth Plagueis were out and about. But let me see. The Black Sun, under his leadership, became so powerful and influential that Darth Sidious himself considered them a threat to the grand plans of a Sith, and assigned Darth Maul to basically cripple the Black Sun, but leave them intact just enough that they might become useful in the future.
Doesn't Crimson Dawn kind of absorb the Black Sun, or?
It's kind of vague, at least in canon anyway.
Fucking canon.
I know. Black Sun is still its own thing. It's just Maul kind of wrapped them into his machinations and all that. But we'll go through that later down the list. But Basically, there was an entire comic series where Darth Maul basically killed all of the Vigos and later Alexei. And, yeah, Black Sun got shit stomped by Darth Maul in just a couple of weeks. But yeah, that'll be important when we cover Maul in the future. But
You know how everybody says "step on me, mommy"?
you want that with Maul?
Yes.
Yeah, but after getting shit stomped by Darth Maul, numerous other crime lords decided to take charge. You know, there's a huge vacuum. You gotta fill that up. And one of the more influential individuals that took charge in the Black Sun were the Felian nobles. If you don't recall, Felians are the green-skinned reptile people. They basically become the most influential people who command all of the Black Sun, which is why you see a majority of them in leadership roles in the Clone Wars. But the most famous one of the Black Sun leaders would be this guy named Prince Zizor. And he is a big dick motherfucker, as you'll see in this picture right here.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows Leia kicks his ass.
Yeah. He oozes with smug.
Yes.
But yeah, Prince Zizor.
For me, he's a 5.5.
5.5.
Maybe a 6.5.
But no, like Prince Zizor, he would gain a level of power and influence that is second only to the Empire itself by the time of the Imperial era. And the Black Sun was filled with near limitless amount of credits to finance any operation they wished. And Prince Zizor himself is so powerful, he's second only to pretty much the Emperor and Darth Vader himself. We'll eventually cover Zizor one of these days, but he basically had a hate boner for Darth Vader and wanted him out of the picture and serve Palpatine himself. But
I would like to learn more about Prince Zizor.
Oh yeah. But long story short, he gets killed by Darth Vader. And the Black Sun would once again, with his death, be crippled and was devastated to such an extent it would not recover for 20 years. But it would still knock about every once in a while. And many different individuals would try to take up the reins of the Underlord, including Zizor's own niece, who kind of served as the leader for a little while and then fucked right off, basically. And then there was his other crime lord, a Hutt by the name of Durga the Hutt, decided to take the position of the leader of the Black Sun for a little while. And he did a pretty good job. He even ordered the construction of a super weapon called the Darksaber, which is a weapon I mentioned a while ago.
Yes, I think everybody knows what the fuck the Darksaber is.
Yeah. But basically, the Black Sun kind of lost a good amount of its influence after the Imperial era, but still has a good presence in the Star Wars galaxy. In the Legacy era, it is known to deal with illegal Yuzheng Vong weapons, which they have spread all across the black market. But anyway, so that's enough with the history of a Black Sun. Kind of an interesting lot. The next one is kind of interesting, is what is called the Churik Council. And the Churik Council is a crime organization centered on Corellia, where it was initially labeled by Corsac as the Red Circle Gang. And you might see why it's called the Red Circle Gang is because a majority of its members wear red uniforms. And let me go ahead and, okay, there we go. Yeah, they're called the Red Circle Gangs because of red uniforms, and sometimes they wear red rings around them. But basically, the Churik Council, Corsac initially saw them as just another crime mere nuisance compared to the wider conflict between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance. it wasn't until later when the gang managed to expand their influence across Corellia that their true identity was revealed to be a powerful crime organization responsible for planet-wide trafficking and murder. So basically, they're a syndicate of serial killers that are going around just slitting throats.
God damn.
Yeah, these guys are ruthless. Among other activities, they are known for the development of bioweapons. So, yeah, a lot of these crime organizations outside of Sator would also make an appearance in Star Wars Galaxies if it wasn't apparent by the graphics you saw earlier.
I was gonna say, that doesn't look like KOTOR or Galaxies.
Yeah. But yeah, their ultimate goal was to control all criminal activities on Corellia itself. Eventually, they would be stopped by Corsac with the help of a spacer, aka the player character, who destroyed the Elite Council along with specialized battle droids, but that's a story for another day. Another interesting crime organization that I came across, and you might recognize the initial female member that was planned to be part of a thumbnail art. This is an organization called the Dark Walkers. Yeah, that's pretty much the only non-in-game picture I could find of the Dark Walkers.
Okay.
I mean, there's not too much on them. They're one of the many crime organizations that infested Naboo during the Galactic Civil War. And they had a freeway war against other crime organizations. And I shit you not, here is some of the names, Hannah. The shock tippers. You know, like cow tippers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I know. It was motherfucking tipping the shock.
Okay. It's fucking barnyard.
Yeah.
That's called cow tipping.
Ha ha ha.
Oh my god.
Nostalgia trip up here, Hannah. That's called boy tipping. Ha ha. And, okay, the second crime organization that they had to deal with was the Nalraka Crime Empire, which is kind of underwhelming because they're just another gang. And the third one are called the Moomers. Yeah, the Moomers. I know a lot of these crime organizations are either silly or edgy as fuck. There's no in between.
The silly.
And of course, the Dark Walkers are the edgy boys over here. But yeah, the Dark Walkers have a particular hatred towards Borvo the Hutt and his crime organization. And I'm not sure if we ever mentioned Borvo the Hutt in the Hutt episode, but he's a silly little dude. You remember Kesh the Hutt from our Aigo campaign?
The Manlet Hut.
The Manlet Hut. This is the original Manlet Hut. Look how tiny he is.
He's as tall as the PC.
Yeah, he's a Manlet Hut.
Not as tiny as Rhoda in his first appearance, but still.
Borvo the Hutt. He looks so adorable.
No, he doesn't. He's ugly.
I mean, he would make a good plushie.
No.
Yes, he would.
No, he would.
But no, I thought that was funny. I wanted to throw out there. Oh, yeah. In case anybody's wondering, when are you going to mention the Hutt cartels? We did an entire episode on the Hutt, so go watch that if you want to. Okay.
Yeah, the Hutt cartel's an obvious. There is way too much to put into just this episode.
Exactly. And kind of a nice little segue, now that we mentioned a entire race that is also a crime organization, we have the Pike Syndicate.
Yay, the Pikes.
Yeah, the Pikes are kind of a fun bunch because even though they were introduced in the Clone Wars, made by George Lucas himself, by the way.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he actually came up with the name Pike Syndicate. And they expanded more about the Pikes in Disney, which I really do appreciate about the new canon. The Pike Syndicate, if it wasn't obvious enough already, they are a spice trafficking organization. And there's the Pikes right there. Do I have their symbol? Yes, I do. Here it is. I think the symbol is really cool. Very simple, but flashy.
It's nice.
And if you do recall, the leader of the Pikes from our D&D campaign was Minister Maris Trim. And
Never matter.
well, okay, you guys didn't, but I know Kid did, and she is a bougie-looking Pike. I'll share a picture later, but the Pike Syndicate is well known across the galaxy as spike traffickers, and they operate from the Pike's homeworld of Ubadiah. It's always kind of fascinating when there's an entire crime organization that holds members, like there's no if, ands, or buts. You're going to be part of a Pike Syndicate, apparently. But they seem to be, though infamously, they have complete control over raw spice in the known galaxy. They ensure the flow of spice from Kesso to Coruscant via the employment of smugglers. I'm not sure if you specifically watched this one episode from the Clone Wars, but it's Ahsoka having a run-in with a bunch of smugglers, and they're contracted a job to go to Kesso, that sort of thing. But they also have a formidable armed force with heavily armed foot soldiers and elite guards. And there are some implications that the Pikes might be high off of their own supply.
Fucking duh.
Yeah, like their main leader, he has like stains all across his mouth from all the spice he has inhaled.
Hell, just like the dust dealer did.
Indeed. Yes, dust dealer, but with a different kind of spice, the one that makes you immortal.
True. Rule number 1 of dealing drugs, don't take from your own supply.
Well, the Pikes, they go against that rule, Hannah. Though they also employ mercenaries and the rare, my most favorite droids of all time, the Scorpionic Annihilator droid.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. And the Pike Syndicate has remained an influential crime organization since the last years of a republic. And at one point, Count Dooku decided to hire them under his Tyrannus persona to basically kill Sifo Dyas. And there was an entire episode of the Clone Wars where Anakin and Obi-Wan are investigating Sifo Dyas' death and the cause of it, and that is where they came to the conclusion that Dooku and Tyrannus are one and the same. But during the Clone Wars, the Pikes would also become one of the free crime organizations to join Maul's Shadow Collective, along with the Black Sun and the Hutt cartels.
That's what I meant. I originally said Crimson Dawn, but I couldn't think of the name.
No worries.
So it's the Shadow Collective.
It's initially the Shadow Collective, but I'll explain that once I get to both the Shadow Collective and the Crimson Dawn.
Okay.
It's a little bit confusing, but bear with me here. But no, it's kind of funny because even though the Pikes like their spice, they love their drugs, Hannah, they are pretty much the most pragmatic of the free crime organizations that approach Maul.
That's surprising.
Yeah, because number one, the Black Sun, Maul was all like, okay, I'm gonna go to you. Oh, you said no? Decapitate everybody.
Fine, you're dead.
And then the Pikes were like, okay, Maul, we don't want to fight you. We want to join you.
Like,
don't kill us.
Cool. We don't want to die. We'll join you. That's the smart way to do it.
That is, it's smart, even though they are the people that deal with drugs the most.
Somehow.
Indeed. And you're not going to make an income if you're like...
Exactly.
But even though they have maintained significant power in the era of the Galactic Empire, they basically filled the power vacuum led by the Hutt cartels ever since Jabba got offed, which is why they tried to make their claim on Tatooine itself in Boba Fett.
Here's a question. Why so was Jabba like the main representative of the Hutt cartel?
From what I can gather, he's kind of one of the main honchos because, in a series of comics, Darth Vader basically fucked up the Hutt cartels, killed all of them except for Jabba, so he was kind of a de facto leader of the Hutt cartels at the time.
Okay, I suppose it's an explanation of, hey, that's how the Hutt cartel died.
Well, not completely died, they just kind of lessened their stranglehold over the Outer Rim. It's kind of weird, but it opens the doors for more crime organizations at least.
Yeah.
You gotta fill up that power vacuum somehow.
Just like the Sith do.
Indeed. And the Pikes, they're doing their thing, selling drugs to the little kids over there. But anyway, the next crime organization is probably one of my new favorites, and one of the few things that I think canon introduced right. Now, if only they could introduce more lore on these guys. And that would be the Guavian Death Gang.
Okay.
And I'll share what they look like.
You made your own lore on the Guavian
Yes,
Death Gang.
yes, I did. they are awesome, as you'll see by their soldiers.
Yep.
They are awesome.
And like something out of Squid Games.
Yeah, I could see that too. Now that you point that out, yeah, they kind of look like the henchmen from the Squid Games. The Guavian Death Gang would rise in prominence 30 years after the Battle of Endor, so around the time of the sequel trilogy. They did once upon a time have a presence on the core worlds, but were driven out into the Outer Rim due to the unrest within the criminal underworld when the Empire fell. Their most recognized aspect is their red armored foot soldiers, which are appropriately called the Guavian Enforcers.
Nice.
Who are given cybernetic augmentations after swearing loyalty to the gang. These soldiers are equipped with a mechanical reservoir that operates as a second heart. And it basically injects them with a combination of chemicals into their bloodstream.
Okay.
Giving them an increased boost of speed and aggression. So, steroids, basically.
Stims. It's just a stim.
Yeah. And they have their high-impact cybernetic armor and can communicate via high frequency, known as hyperwave channels, allowing for near instantaneous communication between soldiers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, these guys are pretty formidable and are armed with the best prototype weapons found in the black market.
Damn.
And they also love their cybernetic augmentations.
Gee, no shit.
I know it's not that obvious, Hannah, but
no wonder you were trying to get Koji to go with them.
Like, according to one of their members, the Guavian Death Gang undergoes what is called a mechamorphosis, which is the process of cybernetic augmentations all members have to undergo. One of their members, a guy by the name of Bellatok, actually is in the earliest process of cybernetic augmentation when he just have his cybernetic leg. So it's just a slow, gradual changing all of your biological parts into machines, basically.
That sounds terrifying.
But it's a show of loyalty towards the gang.
I guess so, but fuck that.
Yeah, I know.
No, thank you.
But yeah, they are seen as a ruthless cabal by their fellow crime organizations, which is one of the reasons why they're pushed out of the core worlds into the Outer Rim. Like, yeah, the Black Sun, the Pike Syndicate, they looked at the Guavian Death Gang and they're like, we don't want to fuck with those guys, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, they took over a region of space called, I know if it's the most creative name ever, the Guavian Death Space.
Yes, very original.
Yes, very original. And they do have their own aspirations to take over the criminal underworld, looking down upon other gangs as lacking vision. They're much more ambitious with their goals, that sort of thing. But it doesn't go into much lore about it. There's even this title within the gang called the Nano Prophets. And I was like, ooh, Nano Prophets, that sounds like a kick-ass name. What do they do? And
nothing.
They're mentioned only once in the Smuggler's Guide, which is basically,
Oof.
Yeah. And from what I can tell, they are, I guess, intelligence officers, but they're only mentioned once, and I was like, damn it!
Yeah, I know how that feels. Especially with Aigo.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll upload a picture of one of the Guavian leaders that I introduced in the Aigo campaign, but her name is Trennick, and she is a Marilyn that went through heavy cybernetic augmentations.
Mary Allen.
Yeah. Mary Allen, thank you. Alright, so the next crime organization that has just as much lore is the Hoxian Brood. I'll go ahead and share some pictures. These guys are the crime organization that appears in the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor games. There we go.
Wait, what the fuck is that planet? What? It's built into the side of an asteroid.
Oh yes, that is basically their base of operations called Ordo Eris, which is a space station created within a hollowed out asteroid.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, at one point in the Jedi Survivor game, you basically get abducted by these guys, and they take you to their base to throw you into a gladiatorial arena.
Damn.
But yeah, the Huxian Brood is a crime syndicate that operates throughout the Outer Rim, where they seem to dominate the gambling and smuggling sector of a criminal underworld. Their numbers consisted of cybernetically augmented bounty hunters and their reprogrammed droids, made entirely from stolen droid parts. Their leader, as far as I can tell, is a guy by the name of Sorik Tormo, who is an Umbaran.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we know about these guys. The Huxian Brood, as I mentioned, is pretty much a side antagonist for the two Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order games. But they are mentioned throughout the canon lore a good amount. But I think they're pretty neat. They're pretty cool. Cybernetic soldiers. I got nothing against that. Mm-hmm. But the next one, Hannah, they do have pretty extensive lore on them. And they are one of the factions you could play in one of the Empire at War games. Let me introduce you, Hannah, the Zan Consortium.
I like anything with consortium in it.
Oh yeah, Consortium is such a dope-ass name.
Ooh. What the fuck is that red armor?
I'll explain that guy in a little bit, but the Zan Consortium is a crime syndicate founded by a dude by the name of Tiber Zane, who's the white-haired motherfucker that you see there.
7.5.
Okay, so he's slightly above Zizor.
Zizor.
Yeah, Zizor. I forgot his name for a little bit there. But anyway, Tiber Zane, so pretty much the Zan Consortium kind of plays a similar role to Crimson Dawn in Legends. It's like the third party of the Galactic Civil War. It's a powerful crime organization.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, they are basically responsible for sabotaging the affairs of both the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance. It has found a rivalry with Jabba's crime empire and Zizor's Black Sun during its lifetime. So yeah, pretty much dunking on your 5.5 over there, Hannah. Though for a time, the Zan Consortium laid low from the galactic scene for many years, since its leader, Tiber Zane, would be put in prison on Kessel. But for a time, the organization at large would be hiding out on Kamino, before eventually moving its operations to Ryloth itself. You know, the yes. Drug capital of the galaxy.
Drug and slave capital
Yeah,
of the galaxy.
Exactly. A very perfect place for a crime empire to hide out at. But eventually Tiber Zane would break out of prison and reorganize the Zan Consortium by raiding this company called Mandel Hypernautics, which is a company from Mandalore itself.
Nice.
And where they get a modest amount of ships and tanks, such as the Kaldabe class battleship and Canderas class assault tank. So they're getting a lot of Mandalorian booty from all this.
Nice.
They mainly make great use of mercenary soldiers and bounty hunters. Like, for example, Bosk and IG-88 served the Zan Consortium for a time.
Cool.
But yeah, the red soldiers that you saw before, they're called the Defilers, and they're one of the most prominent part of the Zan Consortium. Basically, they serve as undercover agents who are dispatched to numerous worlds to promote piracy and sabotage, or more appropriately, spread corruption, if you will. Like, these are the guys, they're a unit in the game, where you could send them to infiltrate worlds and they set up black markets and shit. They even help you with bribing stormtroopers to
Nice.
serve a Sand Consortium. So awesome. But among the other units that the Zan Consortium has, they have what is called Ewok Handlers. They're basically the animal handler from Return of the Jedi, and they they use Ewoks as suicide bombers.
Oh no!
They have like a rucksack on their back, and they send out Ewoks at the enemy.
Oh no! Kamikaze teddy bears!
If you think the Ewoks weren't scary enough, just send them out with a bomb strapped to their backs.
Oh no! That's terrible!
It's so fucking funny and
Yes,
awesome.
it is, but oh my god!
Okay, less funny. They do employ Night Sisters who ride Rancors into battle
That's
for them.
fucking badass!
It is fucking badass, yeah. One of their the Night Sisters that works for the Zan Consortium is this Night Sister by the name of Siluri. Silra. And she rides her Rancor that she Semian, yeah. And she rides a Rancor she names Cuddles.
Oh, cute! That's a cute name for a Rancor.
I know, it's so adorable. Even though she's a murderous Night Sister that would slit your throat if anything else.
I know, but still.
But aside from mercenaries, they also use old Separatist equipment, such as the infamous Buzz Droid for space combat. And among one of the other units that they use in battle, these are all the units you could play in Empire at War, by the way. One of the units that they use is the Droideka Mark II.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Basically, these units, they were never released during the Clone Wars, but Tiber Zane found an old factory and restarted it for his own purposes. They do have a sizable fleet made of stolen craft from both the Empire and the Alliance, as well as repurposed transports, as you could probably see with one of the pictures there. One of the most impressive feats that the Zan Consortium was able to accomplish was commandeering the still under-constructed Eclipse. But yeah, the Eclipse is the personal flagship of Palpatine, if you needed to...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically it was under construction over Kuat, and Tiber Zane was all like, yoink!
It's like, mine.
Mine. And he even activated its super laser against another Super Star Destroyer.
Oh, god damn.
But mostly, Tiber Zane didn't go to Kuat for the Eclipse, but he wanted to access Palpatine's personal votes to steal billions of credits from the Emperor's own personal vote.
Hey, you do that in SWTOR.
Exactly. But basically, even though he has one of the most powerful flagships at the time, he's all like, okay, the firepower is nice and all, but if I decide to take this motherfucker into my fleet, that's going to paint a large-ass target on my back for both the Empire and the Alliance, so I'm going to leave it the fuck alone.
Smart choice. It's like, nope, not touching that with the 10-foot pole.
Exactly. So he decided to steal the money of billions of credits and got the fuck out of Dodge.
Smart.
But despite it getting billions of credits, apparently the Zan Consortium was defeated 6 to 7 years later.
Damn it.
We do not know how such a powerful crime organization was defeated, but they're no longer around.
That sucks.
Yeah, because these guys are really cool.
They're awesome.
The Zan Consortium. That's such a fun name to say. Zan Consortium.
Like the Hapes Consortium.
Oh yeah, the Hapes Consortium. Okay, next one. You might be familiar with these guys, Hannah. We're going to be covering The Exchange.
I hate these guys.
From your reaction, I ascertain you don't have a positive view on these guys.
I don't like these guys.
Which is completely
They're
fair.
all over Tatooine and Coruscant. Too many fucking mobs. I still have to get the C2N2 and the droid, achievements.
You know, they actually do have a cool-ass symbol, though.
They do.
Yeah. But anyway, the Exchange is one of the most powerful crime organizations during the time of the Old Republic, from 4,000 to 3,627 years before the Battle of Yavin. And they basically dealt in spice refinement, smuggling, extortion, weapon trafficking, slave trading, and bounty hunting.
Yeah, I think Andronikos was a pirate for the Exchange.
Oh, yeah. It was active on many planets, and it was notorious for posting a massive bounty on Jedi during the first Jedi Purge, which is a center point for the first Knights of the Old Republic game. And the bounty was, quote, large enough to buy an entire planet.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're just throwing money around to kill Jedi.
Goddamn.
Yeah, these guys are wealthy as fuck, Hannah.
Yeah.
But they are led by a mysterious individual named Compeer. We don't actually know what they look like, except their title and all that stuff. But usually they spread power to the underbosses, who command the Exchange over an entire planet. The only one way one could get into the Exchange is to be accepted by the other crime lords. The underbosses would report to basically sector chiefs, who themselves don't operate any cell of their own. They're kind of their own individual that just goes around. Instead, they would have secret identities, and they would lead normal lives. Not even the underbosses know who the sector chiefs really are, since they have encrypted communication. So, for all we know, it's James from the local Walmart or something that's serving as the sector chief. Like, all right, next. Yeah, it's going exactly according to plan. Which I think is hilarious to think about. In return, the sector chiefs report to the head of the Exchange, who themselves is also the sector chief. So it's like a spy versus spy versus spy sort of thing going on here. They are a very secretive organization. Though, as a side effect, they mainly operate on Nar Shaddaa and come into frequent conflict with the Hutt cartels. Basically, the Hutts, there's this one Hutt named Voga the Hutt, who basically calls the Exchange, quote, a Hutt fungus with none of the slow, creeping subtlety. It was even predicted by Kreia herself that the Exchange would be put down by the Hutt cartels after they grew in power and they couldn't be tolerated. So,
was she right?
Well, the Exchange is no longer around, so probably. The one time she predicted the future quite accurately, Hannah, as far as we know.
I can't wait to cover Kreia.
Oh, yeah.
But I still need to play KOTOR 2.
That
but
is
I need
fair.
to finish KOTOR 1!
That's going to take a while, isn't it?
I know.
All right, another brief one that I think would be fun to cover, just based on your reaction alone. We got another crime organization called the, okay, where the fuck are you? There we go, you swab motherfucker. The next crime organization is the From Gang.
What?
Just like I said, I wanted to show that for the meme potential.
You know what? This is where this new fucking sticker comes in. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Okay, that was half what I was expecting. You did not disappoint, Hannah.
This chick looks like Odessa.
But yes, in case...
And she looks like a thumb. Oh, shit.
But in case you are wondering, yes, they are the From Gang. FROMM.
Oh my god.
But they're also called the From family of crime. It is a long-lived species called the Anodot. Anodot.
Okay.
Those are what the green-looking fuckers are called. The Anodot.
Okay, they're still weird.
Yeah, I know, they're a little bit weird. They maintain a legitimate import/export business, which served as a front for their extortion, kidnapping, and weapon smuggling. I believe these guys employ clone soldiers of themselves.
Oh no.
And yes, in case you're wondering, I believe they are from the Droid TV show.
Of course.
Remember what I said earlier? They're the crime organizations either have the silliest fucking names or edgiest names. There's no in between.
Yeah.
This is a prominent example of a silly.
The silly is fun though.
The silly is fun. But we're going to go on the completely other end of the spectrum, and we'll be talking about what is called the Shadow Collective.
Yes!
And yes, in case you're wondering, Hannah, there's a game out there called Star Wars Legions, and there are actual minis of these guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Let me go ahead and throw that out. Now I gotta say, their logo looks badass.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's all Dathomir inspired.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
So, it's not a formal crime organization. Think of it more as like a criminal alliance led entirely by Darth Maul. And you're the supreme Maul simp over there, Hannah.
Hang on. I
Yeah.
have another.
So yeah, the Shadow Collective is a large alliance that was created by Maul. Okay, let me... The simp. Okay, the toad.
Pepe the Frog.
More fucking... Okay, where was I? Okay. So yeah, the Shadow Collective was founded by Maul during the middle of the Clone Wars, when he wanted to carve his own empire into the galaxy, and he basically strong-armed a couple of crime organizations into the fold. The Pike Syndicate.
Well, obviously, he decapitated all the Black Suns.
Yeah, and he like turned to the captain, and he's all like, "It seems like the decision to join us is now on you." And he's all like, after careful consideration,
shit your pants.
We'll join you. But yeah,
After careful consideration.
After careful
okay, I just shat
he's
myself.
just looking at all of his decapitated superiors, and he's like, after careful consideration, we'll join you. But anyway,
That's too funny.
I know. Part of the alliance started with the Death Watch, led by Pre Vizsla. Also, the Mandalorian minis look awesome if you see the picture.
I have not. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, most of those minis look
I love the
awesome.
way Maul looks. The Mandalorians look so cool.
Oh,
the
yeah.
armor.
The Mandalorians. It's such a silly name, but they look so cool. Especially with Zabrak-inspired horns.
Yes, I love that.
But anyway, so yeah, that started with Death Watch under Pre Vizsla, basically as a bit to take back Mandalore, and Darth Maul was like, no, we need more allies so that we could take over Mandalore and make you look like the heroes and all that stuff.
To overthrow Satine.
Yeah, which was pretty easy to do. Fun fact.
Unfortunately, because she was so fucking stubborn.
Yeah, and then it kind of slowly started to fall apart once Maul was taken prisoner by Darth Sidious after he curb stomped him and killed his brother. But yeah,
Savage.
poor Savage. The Alliance slowly started to fall apart when the Hutt cartels left the Shadow Collective for the brief time that Maul was in prison. But basically, Maul had a giant target on his back because motherfucking Grievous and Dooku were after his ass. But that will be important for Maul's episode, so I'm gonna give you the Clip Notes version. Basically,
But that is coming up.
yeah, it
I think
will be coming up.
My birthday falls on a Thursday. That's gonna be fun.
But anyway, the Shadow Collective
It's
was
Friday. We can record the episode on my birthday.
nice.
Yes.
But anyway, the point is, the Shadow Collective was kind of short-lived after both the Black Sun and the Pike Syndicate kind of just saw the writing on the wall because they had both the Republic and the Separatists after their ass, and were like, no.
Fuck that.
They're all like, peace, we're out. But on the bright side, Maul did have the entirety of Death Watch and Mandalore at his disposal until Ahsoka Tano came and curb stomped his ass. But for the briefest of times that the Shadow Collective was around, it was remembered as a powerful crime organization, and it would actually lead to Maul's further founding of the Crimson Dawn and the other 5 crime organizations. Whenever you hear the term 5 crime organizations, it's basically like an umbrella term for the top 5 most powerful crime organizations of the galaxy.
Okay.
I can't remember. Okay, so the Black Sun is 1, the Pike Syndicate, the Hud Cartels, Crimson Dawn. Can't remember. Oh yeah, it was the Guavian Dev Gang. That was the 5th one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's
I'm
pretty.
very surprised Maul didn't show up on Aego to get in on the dust dealing.
Well,
Because every other fucking crime syndicate showed up.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Maul, he carved out a mighty empire for the briefest of times, but at least he's got the Crimson Dawn now. But yeah, going on from that, next we have another crime organization that originated in the sequel trilogy, and it is called, let me go ahead and get the pictures real quickly, because that will be important, god damn it.
Sequels?
The sequels. The Guavian Dev Gang was from the sequel trilogy.
Oh.
But the next crime organization is what is called the Kanji Club.
That's the Kanji Club?
The Kanji Club.
Okay.
They're pretty simple. They're pretty barbaric. But I think they have a kind of neat aesthetic.
Yeah, but there's a...
Yes, I am aware of the theming.
Okay.
But yeah, the Kanji Club, also known as the Kanji Gang, is one of the newer crime organizations that made a name for themselves many decades after the fall of the Empire. Their entire backstory is that they were former slaves of the Hutts that filled they filled the vacuum left by their former masters, and they became a formidable crime organization led by top boss Tasso Leech, and their chief rivals were the Guavian Dev Gang.
Nice.
Yeah. The Guavian Dev Gang kind of don't see them in a very high light. They see them as simple-minded barbarians, in all honesty. Alright, yeah, that's a simple one. Nice and sweet. Little lore. Think they have a neat aesthetic. But let's get on to the other cool stuff. The next one that we'll be talking about, Hannah, is what is called the Sable Dawn.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, anything with Dawn is automatically a badass name.
That's a very interesting planetoid.
Oh yeah.
That looks cool.
Yeah. The Sable Dawn is an organization that operates out of Point Nadar, which is a shadow port located in the Comet Resh 9376 in the Outer Rim. In case you are wondering, Hannah, a shadow port is basically a spaceport where criminals go.
Well, duh. you see or you visit one multiple times in the Smuggler story.
Oh, neat.
Port
It's
Nowhere.
in Swator. Cool. Let me see. And they operated on other places prior to and during the Imperial era of the galaxy. Basically, the Sable Dawn are a secretive group of assassins for hire, with much of their activities shrouded in mystery and speculation. Even its 100 members were unaware that the group's leaders were a group of murderous Force adepts.
Oof.
So yeah, the 100 assassins, they are completely clueless that their leaders are a bunch of Force sensitives. Sith for all we know, but who knows? The amount of activities that they partake in are assassination, bounty hunting, and supporting terrorist activities.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the Sable Dawn is willing to commit any means to gain wealth and power. That's their entire shtick, basically. Okay, and the next one, kind of simple, but I think it's cool because they're like, where else am I going to be talking about these motherfuckers? There's a crime organization called the Sith Shadows.
Ooh, I like that.
And these guys look pretty cool.
Like the armor.
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the Sith Shadows are a group of thugs that are known to attack Force sensitive during the time of a galactic civil war. They are led by a dark Jedi named Belashai, who is the Zabrak in the third image.
6.6.
Yeah. And he would lead the Sith Shadows on the world of Dathomir.
Yes!
Yes. And basically their entire shtick, these guys appeared in Star Wars Galaxies, by the way. And they raided this village called Aurelia to try and kill or capture its Force-sensitive inhabitants to gain favor from the Emperor. Kind of a underwhelming motivation, but
underwhelming.
for an organization called the Sith Shadows, they are kind of underwhelming.
Okay.
But yeah, the Sith Shadows are known to employ many races amongst its ranks, but interestingly enough, Wookiees are not the race among them.
Surprising.
Yeah. Another short but sweet crime organization, which we knew more about them, but they look cool. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of crime organizations that are like, they're cool.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. What do we know about them? Pretty much nothing. Pretty much. Okay, the next crime organization is what is called Suntel Pride.
Okay.
So the
the Rodian gang?
I believe they are mostly Rodian, but they employ other members of their race, and these guys are from the new Marvel comics.
Okay.
The Suntel Pride is a crime syndicate that is based on the jungle world of Suntel, and is a major competitor of Hutt cartels, especially Jabba's little pocket of his empire. They were considered powerful enough to be part of a 5 crime syndicate, so apparently they are relatively influential to gain that moniker. But after the Battle of Yavin, the Empire decided to crack down on a lot of crime organizations in the Outer Rim, and Suntel Pride was one of those organizations that got hit the hardest. Basically, Vader kind of went into their headquarters and stole a bunch of their money. I think it's kind of funny, but
that is funny.
Yeah. And then briefly, the Suntel Pride would be briefly reorganized and led by a droid by the name of 000. Think of 000 as basically a more murderous C-3PO.
So still as like polite and persnickety as C-3PO, or oh my god.
He's specialized in torture.
Take Jigsaw and put it into a 3PO droid.
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I think one of these days we're going to be talking about 000 because he's kind of fascinating.
From the brief instance of what you've told me?
Yeah. He even has his own, not an R2, but an astromech droid companion that's just loaded with weapons.
It's C-3PO's antithesis.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
I know, it's so fun. Triple Zero. We'll talk about him one of these days. But Triple Zero, basically, he reorganized the Suntail Pride organization through utter brutality and torturous methods. But they broke away from Triple Zero and operated on their own for a good while.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much all that we know about them. We're almost finished, Hannah. Don't worry. The next one is the Valorant.
Sorry, I'm getting hungry.
I know. I feel you, Hannah. But don't worry. We're almost there. 2 more to go. Next is what is called the Valorant Syndicate. And it is led by this wonderful individual named Lady Valorant. And she's a Whippet, who are the big tusked, kind of...
Okay.
Their race was briefly covered in the beginning of the courtship of Princess Leia when Luke was on that world.
Oh, right. Okay.
And Lady Valorant, she considered herself a strong rival of Jabba the Hutt, who is struggling for control over Tatooine. Lady Valorant is kind of an interesting character. She has her entire story. Like, this gal is feminist to the core.
What's wrong with that?
The one husband that she married, she literally murdered him the day of their wedding.
What in the red wedding?
The red wedding, basically. Yeah, she's kind of insane, but kind of a badass too. So Lady Valorant's ultimate goal was to gain control over the illegal trade in the Outer Rim. Though considering that she set up shop on Tatooine, which is dominated by Jabba the Hutt, she's like, okay, I gotta deal with this fat ass slug first. Then I'll be able to conquer the illegal trade. And she openly is hostile to Jabba. But Jabba kind of sees her as adorable. He's all like, oh, look at this lady over here trying to overthrow me. You think you could do that, little lady? Go ahead and try it.
They fuck you and kicked his ass?
No, unfortunately not.
Damn it!
But the Valorant Syndicate employs a large number of thugs, assassins, scouts, smugglers, swoopers, pod racers, and fighter pilots. So she has her own little armada going on here.
That's cool.
Yeah. I actually have okay. So her main headquarters on Tatooine is this crashed ship called the Lucky Despot, which was converted into a cantina.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a cool name for a cantina.
Lucky Despot? Yeah, it's so cool.
Okay, if anybody can suggest a better cantina name for my cantina, shoot it at me.
Will do, Hannah. But
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The pilots of the Valorant Syndicate would fly. They used to fly this craft called the M12L Kamulga Heavy Fighter, which is a Mandel Motors fighter, and it does look pretty cool. Here we go.
Very sleek.
It is very sleek. But eventually they got replaced by this other craft called the XTN class Fast Attack Craft. Let me go ahead and throw that at you. I'm going to look forward to talking about ships in a dedicated episode one of these days.
Okay.
Not as sleek looking as the Mandalorian ship, but it does the job quite well, apparently. There would be numerous attempts by the Valorant Syndicate to assassinate Jabba the Hutt. Even one of Lady Valorant's former lovers infiltrated the Hutt's court to try and assassinate him, but failed. Not long after, Jabba the Hutt would be killed by Luke Skywalker, and the Valorant Syndicate would come to rule Tatooine after,
Wait, didn't Leia kill Jabba?
Well, okay, Leia did kill Jabba, but Luke was the one that blew up his little yacht thing.
Okay.
But yeah, Lady Valorant would be the next crime lord that ruled over all of Tatooine.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, she was okay, aside from Java, she absolutely hates the Black Sun, and she has an alliance with our good old buddy Talon Card.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
so
can't
she's
wait to
kind of
talk
buddy
about
buddy
him.
to Talon.
I can't wait to talk about him. He's one of my favorite Legends characters.
Oh, yeah.
Not Sith or Jedi.
Yeah, he does sound pretty cool. I'll have to dive into him one of these days. But last but not least, Hannah, we kind of saved the best for last.
Okay.
And that is Crimson Dawn.
Yes!
The crime organization that Maul would take over. And its symbol looks pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dryden Voss would be one of the main leaders of the Crimson Dawn from the Solo movie. Regardless of your opinions on the Solo movie, I think it did a pretty good job about depicting the criminal underworld and all that.
I don't remember much of it. I would have to watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
I remember having a headache in the theater because of all of the star lines, because
Yeah.
you jumped into hyperspace so many times.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember Paul Bettany as Dryden Voss.
That's pretty much it.
Yes. I need to rewatch Solo.
Yeah.
But the simp in me is just like, yes.
Oh, yeah. So remember how I said earlier that the Fazan Consortium is basically what Crimson Dawn is in Legends? Let's go ahead and talk about them. So the Crimson Dawn is one of the more powerful crime organizations of recent memory, and it was originally a band of ruthless mercenaries who traveled from planet to planet, seizing whatever resources they could find. Any defiance by any world they raided would be met with severe punishments, such as cutting the tongues of every man, women, and child they could find.
Oh, God.
So yeah, they're kind of the boogeymen that go out and take all your shit. But yeah, they would become one of the more powerful crime organizations in the final years of the Republic, enough to match the Black Sun, the Hud Cartel, and the Pike Syndicate, becoming part of the fine crime syndicates. And eventually, Darth Maul would take a personal interest in the Crimson Dawn. He basically served as the shadow leader, while Dryden Voss served as the public leader of the Crimson Dawn.
And then Kira took over.
Oh yeah, and then Kira.
I've got like so many things from the Child of Dathomir game that I did with Eric.
Yeah.
About Crimson Dawn that I could tell you, but we're cutting it a little long here, so.
Yeah, we kind of are. Now, I kind of purposely kind of left out a lot of information because a majority of what Crimson Dawn does is kind of an important part of Kira's story. Because there's an entire I think it's over right now, but there's an entire Marvel comic book series which follows.
She's got her own book.
Oh yeah, an entire comic book series that follows the Crimson Dawn, basically trying to overthrow the Empire. And
Yeah,
the
that would
Kira
be
is
a
at the
lot of
front of it.
spoilers.
Yeah, a lot of spoilers. But long story short, the Empire kind of stomps out Crimson Dawn, and it's no longer a relevant thing.
In Child of Dathomir, they're on Sangaris Island.
Oh yeah. And then of course, Kira is one of the more important figures, and
Yes, Queen!
yes, Queen. Yeah, she's kind of a badass.
She's awesome.
Well, let me see. These guys had their own motherfucking fleet. It's awesome. There we go.
I love the capital. I love that ship in the middle. Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
the capital ship?
I think that's their flagship. I forget the name of it.
That's so cool!
And then, of course, so part of the comic book series, at one point, Crimson Dawn manages to yoink Han Solo's carbonated body from Boba Fett and put him up for auction. And Kira actually kind of laments about her former lover and all that.
Yep.
She's all like, I gotta give you up for the greater good of the galaxy. Sorry, Han. But at one point, they, you might cringe at this, they worked alongside the Knights of Ren at one point. Yeah, there's the Knights of Ren right there. Right next to Kira, too.
God, she's a badass.
Yeah, she is such a Chad. Oh yeah, I gotta show this somber picture that I saw of Kira after the destruction of Crimson Dawn. Yeah.
Because in Child of Dathomir, Kira was still running Crimson Dawn, kind of in hiding, but still like an undercover.
Agent?
No, not an undercover agent, but like a down low operation.
Okay.
They still did trade and stuff because Sangaris was the only place on Dathomir that had access to ships and had an active spaceport and everything.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the planet was very, tribalistic, isolated, And guess who was her underboss? Or second in command?
Crap. Han Solo?
No.
Oh.
Terran Malicos.
Oh, okay.
Eric had Terran Malicos be her second in command. And the way they worked off of each other as threats, like very threatening people, but also very kind of kind-ish, because they could put off that persona, just so good.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I miss about Child of Dathomir.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
I know you're...
And my character convinced them, hey, work for the good of Dathomir, let's save this planet from the Empire, and you can have your share of the spoils. They're like, okay.
Okay.
But you gotta do something else for us.
But yes, that is all of the crime syndicates I thought were pretty interesting. I know I kind of was short and sweet with Crimson Dawn, but once again, Kira is an important part of it, so I'm just cutting it there for now.
That's fair, and I wouldn't want to get that spoiled for me.
Exactly. When we get around to Kira's episode. But yeah, what
I need to try and find those comics now.
Yeah. What crime syndicate did you like the most, Hannah? The Crimson
Gee,
Dawn
Isaac,
Order.
I don't know. What do you think?
The Shadow Collective is your number one.
And the Crimson Dawn.
Oh, yeah. But the Zan Consortium is also pretty
yes,
cool.
the Zan Consortium as well.
Yeah. I personally like the Pike Syndicate. I do love the Black Sun and the HUD cartels, but Guavian Dev Gang, that's a lot of untapped potential right there.
Yes.
But yeah, the other cool ones like the Sable Dawn, the Dark Walkers is kind of a edgy one. Thought their female character looked pretty cool.
It is very cool.
The Shock Tippers. Yeah, man. A lot of these crime names are kind of hilarious.
You need to put in that clip from Barnyard when you mentioned that.
That's called shock tipping. No. My most favorite one was your reaction to the From gang.
So stupid.
But yes, that is our episode of Can Mayonnaise Kill a Jedi? Or in this case, how much can you sim for, Hannah?
A lot.
Yes.
Oh, just wait until the mall episode, baby.
But yes, I hope everybody loved that little short but sweet undercover of a crime syndicate. If there's one crime syndicate that I missed, be sure to let me know, because I might cover them again in a future episode. Who knows?
My ending notes on this.
Yeah.
Thank you all for the amazing gift. Thank you to all who donated. Thank you to Emboss for coming up with the idea and presenting it to our lovely Verpine friend.
Yes.
And that means so much to me that I really can't put it into words. I wanted to end the episode on a very nice note. Thank you all.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least James Earl Jones is keeping your dad company now.
Yeah.
But yes, may the Force be with you, Hannah.
This is the way.
This is the way. Bye-bye.